Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Xbox International Podcast. I am your host for today, Crazy Lou Gaming, right here handling the show. So that means no time outs for Lou. I get to do whatever I want, and I get to have all the fun I want, even do dances, even sing. I can do anything I want today, right here live on the Xbox International Podcast. Let's go. Woohoo. We are now in flight. What is it? 124, right? We're in flight 124, Cypher. We're in 124, right? I think it is,
Why
yeah.
why do you think that you don't get to go to timeout anymore?
Oh, because Sourblow's not here, and I am in control of the show today. That's why. And speaking of which, Silent Cypher, how are you doing on this wonderful day today, sir? And what have you been playing?
Oh man, Louis, I'm doing okay. It is hot as balls outside here right now.
Same here.
It's been like 104 degrees pretty much every day for the last week and a half. It's been really busy. A lot of trips, a lot of traveling over the last couple weeks too. But things are hopefully starting to wind down. We're getting towards the beginning of the school year for the kids, so hopefully that means I'll get a little bit of a break in the action on traveling all over the place. Um, but yeah, I'm doing okay, all things considered. I think we're on the upswing. As far as what I've been playing, man, I've been playing a lot more Brotato. I still have characters I'm trying to play through as, and I'm also trying to up the difficulty on some of the different playthroughs I'm doing, which is proving to be just kicking my ass pretty regularly. Um, so I've been having a lot of fun with that. I jumped in for the first time. I jumped into X-Men Origins Wolverine, or X-Men Wolverine
Nice.
Origins, whatever it is, from Xbox 360 days. For some reason, when that game came out, I figured that it was another one of those movie tie-in cash grabs where the game sucked, but they put it out there so they could make money. And it turns out that this was not one of those games, right? Like as it released, a bunch of people were like, "Oh, dude, this game is great. You need to try it." And I missed the window, right? And I recently grabbed that Xbox 360, so I was like, you know what? Now is the time. We're gonna jump into this. We're gonna give it a shot. We're gonna see how it goes. And that game rocks. It is really good. And what drew me into jumping into that game just so out of the blue and random, you might ask? Well, as it turns out, Deadpool and Wolverine they're released in theaters, of which I have now, after yesterday, I have now seen that movie 3 times. And I have just had so much fun with it. It feels like one of those buddy cop movies that I've wanted for a long time. I feel like a lot of the superhero stuff has gotten pretty stale over the last little while, and so it's refreshing to have something with characters that are intriguing. They're characters that you grew up with and that you have sort of that nostalgia pull towards. So yeah, so that's mostly what I've been doing. More, I feel like I've been watching movies more than I've actually been playing video games. I actually am working on a homework project right now because I will
Oh,
shameless plug it later towards the end of the show. But I have another podcast I will be on Friday where we will be
nice.
discussing the movie, both the original and the remake, The Town That Dreaded Sundown. So
Sound
we're
that dreaded sundown. What movie is
yes,
that?
I so I had heard of it in the past, but I'd never seen it. Um,
Oh,
and fortunately, so if any of you are interested or curious about the movie, you can jump on to Tubi. It's just TUBI. It's the app. It's on Xbox. It's on your phone. It's everywhere. But you can stream both the original and the remake that came out, I think, in 2016, 2017. You can stream them for free. And I think I have about 20 more minutes left of the original. And it's an interesting concept, and it's based
what?
on true
What's
story, like true events and everything.
what's the movie called? The Town what? The Town with No Name. That was a game though.
Sundown is what it's called.
The Town Sundown.
No, the town that dreaded
That
sundown.
dreaded. Okay, dreaded Sundown. Here it is. Okay, that's a 19.
It's an oldie.
Oh.
It's an oldie, and there are definitely some things about that film where when you watch it, you're like, oh, this comes from a whole different time, right? Like this is way different the way that it's put together. It's a very old school horror movie.
So wait,
Um,
this is where Jason got his sandbag mask or something from this movie?
has to
It has
be
to be, yeah.
has to be. And this was based on true events, true story stuff. So
Let's
in
watch
theory,
that.
you figure. So I did find it kind of funny, right? The fact that what was it, Sean Cunningham, the creator of Friday the 13th, uh, threw such a big fit about rights and all this stuff, and like claimed that his friend stole from him or vice versa or whatever, and so they were fighting for the rights. I find it pretty interesting that this movie came out before that, and Jason is literally a dead ringer for that character in the town that dreads sundown. Yet no one ever called Cunningham out on this situation. Like I feel like he literally copied the people right before him.
Hmm.
But
Right,
whatever the case is,
right,
anyways, like
right
what's
before
that?
the wasn't Friday the 13th like a 1979 movie? Okay, I'm a bit lost though because I think
When wait, when was this? Because I thought this one was before.
no, this movie is before Friday the 13th. I think because this movie
Yeah,
was in
yeah, that's
1976. Yeah,
yeah.
that's
So that's what
great.
I'm saying is like this one came out, and then just like a handful of years later, all of a sudden, Jason comes in with a burlap sack as his mask, right?
Yeah.
It's a little ironic. I don't know. It's curious, a little curious the timing.
Hmm.
But anyways, that's enough about me because I feel like I've been talking forever. Louis, what have you been up to? I feel like we haven't talked for a minute. How are you? How's the dog? How's your video
Oh,
gaming?
yeah. Well, on the sad news side of things, though, the dog is gone. Right, the dog, went back to the owners. So basically, I don't have any dog
That's not
anymore.
sad news.
Oh, I kind of like the dog. I miss it. I miss
You can have
Bullshit.
mine.
I mean, I love to take it out, every day, just hang out. He used to take me to do exercise with and just have fun. The dog was pretty nice. It was nice company since I am alone from Tuesdays to Fridays normally because the missus is out from Tuesdays to Fridays. So yes, I miss the dog to be honest with you. But yeah, she left. When was it? On Sunday she left. And not only that, I also had family crash here. And I don't know. I got a new setup for the room. I don't know if you guys see. I got a new couch that kind of is a bed. This is the funeral where I conducted the Sony memorial this morning because the memorial
Oh,
fell down. So yeah.
so that's where you sleep when you upset the boss.
No, we were looking for a bed kind of like this, and we got it. We finally found a couch like that. We got new I got new drawers so that way I can finish. I started to organize my room. This is why it looks more organized. I got my
Did
VHSs down there. I got my CD
did you
recorders
fill
right
your
there.
drawers?
I filled a couple of them. I still need to add a couple more things in there, but I'm almost done. I mean, that's it.
Filled your drawers. Gotcha. Gotcha.
Okay, what do you
Yeah.
mean by that? Is that like a bad
What?
thing? What
No,
is that?
no.
You sure?
I'm just taking in the story, Louis.
Oh, yeah, I filled my drawer. No, 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 no. I filled in the furniture drawers, not my drawers. Oh, okay, okay. No. But yeah, but other than that, we finally have a bed to sleep in. Finally a best base, best base. Did I say best base? Bed base. Yes, bed base. That's the word. Bed base that we
Yeah.
actually sleep on because the one I had before was a metal one, and the bed kind of like used to like go out the tub because this bed this is a huge bed we got for a wedding gift, so it just didn't fit in the middle frame. So literally, like the bed kind of like slipped out, and when I used to lay on that side, I used to fall off the bed all the time. Like it just went up to its side. So yeah, I had to like sleep in the middle, and it was just terrible. I used to sleep terrible. Now I'm sleeping better. Real happy. I finally got finally our home is almost finished. So freaking happy. Other than that, sadly, no. Like I said, I have family here. They left on Tuesday. And man, silent, I've been playing RoboCop. Oh my god, I am addicted to that game. It's insane. I mean, I'm just here talking to you, and I'm like, yeah, what am I gonna? Should I play after? What am I gonna do? What am I gonna shoot up? What am I gonna blow up?
Yeah,
I don't know. It's
yeah,
such a fun game. Such a
that's
well
right.
made
That's
game.
right. I think I saw you. I think I saw you playing that yesterday when I jumped in. I was playing a little bit of Brotato. I was like, oh,
Oh,
good, good.
yeah.
That's yeah. I need to get back to that as well. That's a good one.
Yeah, getting through it, want to finish it because that's my first run over here. Then I'm gonna, after I fix the problem with the PC, which it's gonna be in December, that I'm gonna fix it because I'm ordering the case soon. It's gotta come like in a month or two or something like that. And I'm gonna go little by little building the PC. So when December hits, I'm gonna have a new PC, brand new made and everything. I mean, after I'm done with that, I'm gonna start playing all those big PC games that I used to play on here because I don't know why, but every time I load them up, it takes a while. I think I have an issue with the SSD. So you know what? I'm not gonna buy a new SSD. I'm just gonna wait for the to build the PC to get that thing. I don't want any more problems with this machine. I just want to get it finished, done, and get it out with.
You could always just get yourself a new SSD and just format that and throw it in there. You don't even have to. Is it just the games that are acting up, or is it everything?
Just the games. Every time I load up the
Okay.
game, it takes a long time. Like for example, when I loaded a RoboCop the game, it took
Mhm.
like 5 minutes to load up. I'm like, what's happening here? This is weird. Yeah.
So, so you could try the easy fix, and you could always just get a new one, format it to just make it so you can store on it, and you can actually just make it a storage drive for your system.
Hmm.
So you wouldn't have to put new OS or anything on it. You basically just use it for storage to play and load stuff onto.
Oh, okay.
So that's always an option if you choose to go that way. That would allow you to at least fix the problem in the short term if there's stuff that you want to play in the meantime.
Yeah, maybe I'm gonna take a look at it. I'm gonna have to see what can I buy, to for it to work because like this is like a Gen 8 PC, something like that, Gen 8, Gen 9. I have to like because I don't know, I did not know this. I mean, I'm learning my computer stuff these days. I'm learning, I'm sitting down, I'm reading. I now know that computers have generations, so this is like the ninth gen PC. Now it's like a 13, 14 gen or 15 gen. I don't know what gen is coming up, but I don't know. It's a new gen coming up, and that's the one where I just want to build my PC and leave it there for like the next 5 or 6 years. That's what I'm gonna do. That's what I'm gonna do. But yes, I'm learning little by little my PC. But like I said, I've been playing RoboCop. I've been having a lot of fun. I don't know why that game is. There's like a couple annoying missions, and those are the town missions. Like you got to do like police work. Like for example, you got to write a ticket. You got to figure out what's going on around the town. It got to a point where I was like,
Yeah,
man,
there's
this is
some
this is a bit
fetch
annoying.
quests.
Yeah, there's like
Yeah.
an annoying little quest, but okay, it's cool. But it's just a little
Mhm.
bit annoying because you got to figure out around the town. You walk and you got this big ass tank that is slow. No matter how much you can pace it, it's just it's a slow robot. But the action though, it's amazing, and I love that you can what's it called? Upgrade the gun. Oh my god, that gun! RoboCop gun just gets better and better all the time. It's fabulous, fabulous.
Yeah, I got to get back to it because I think when we were talking last, like when it first came out, I think you had
Yeah,
you had played it for a little bit, or someone had,
I
and
do.
someone made the comment. Okay, maybe it was you. You had been like, "Hey, one of the first things that you want to get is like immediately you want to get the one that speeds up your movement."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh, okay." Like, and I jumped into it. I was like, "Dear God, this is so slow." But then, like, you were correct. Like, once you upgrade the speed, like, it makes it way better.
Oh, and the
It makes it
combat,
so
yes. Like
yes.
when
Well, and just for your character in general, because like he moves
yeah.
so much
So
slower
yes, he
initially.
does. Yes, he does. And I think the
So,
game got like kind of like an upgrade because I feel like he's
mhm,
moving a bit more faster than what he was before. But
that's
yes,
good.
he's a heavy tank, man. You feel it. You feel like you're a heavy tank. But
You do.
it's great. It's great. It's great. I mean, I'm having a lot of fun. I already defeated what's it called?
No spoilers. No spoilers, though.
No, already. I'm not gonna say the spoilers, but I think I defeated like 3 or 4 bosses now. I think I'm
Mhm.
getting close to the final boss. So yeah, it's fun.
Nice.
It's fun, and the plot, man. I'm telling you, this should have been RoboCop 3, 100%. It
Yeah,
should have
I
been.
think everything except for like you mentioned some of those side quests, because some of those side quests, man, like it's like you said, writing tickets or when you've got to like go do a favor for like one of the rando guys or something,
Yes,
like
yes, 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 yes.
go apologize for something stupid he'd done or whatever. You're just like, dude, I don't care about your storyline. I want to do my thing. I don't care about what's going on with you. I would rather just jump in here, and I'd rather experience the storyline and not your fetch quests. I think that's probably the only knock on the game that I have, because realistically, like visually and stuff like that, it looks good.
It looks good,
Um,
and what's funny is the new developer too. I mean, this is, and I'll be honest with you. I mean, I have not sat down and played a good AAA game or something like that in a long time. But this is like an indie dev, and it feels and plays better than freaking one of those big ass AAA games. It's incredible. It's incredible.
yeah.
They made amazing work with that game. So let me go right away and jump into the flight itinerary, so our captain can get ready to do the in-flight announcement. So real quick, let's go through this. So we're gonna talk about Avowed being delayed. No, it's been delayed, and also we're gonna talk some PS5 hardware. Why are we gonna talk some PS5 hardware? Interesting thing. Something happened over the weekend with hardware conversations that I just wanted to tackle down with you. I talked about it this morning, you know, and you know what? I've been not only talking about it this morning, talking about it last week, and I talked about it a couple times. But I want to hear your opinion about this on the side, because this just went too deep, into conversations. And last but not least, the final topic is going to be Xbox wants to be Nintendo, which is interesting. And also, I might add, there's going to be some crazy updates which are in between the Avowed delay and the PS5 hardware. So yes, I'm going to talk a little bit about crazy updates, things that are happening. So, Captain, take it away to the in-flight announcement.
All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, Sour has turned on the subscribe button for us in the background. Please store your food and beverages next to your desk, underneath your seat, or in front of you. Please take your seat and also fasten your seatbelt. Make sure that you've hit that like button before we take off. We gently remind you that smoking and drinking are not prohibited on this flight. However, releasing Star Wars Jedi Survivor on the PS4 and Xbox One, when you're fully aware that the games will perform like a heaping pile of dog shit, but you're still going to do it because money. Well, now that's just gross and strictly prohibited. If you have any questions about our flight today, please don't hesitate to ask one of our flight panelists. Thank you.
All right, real quick, let me shout out this beautiful and awesome chat. Oh my god, I mean, we got chat in here just talking and talking and talking, and something happened in the background that I have to see what went on. Not in the background, but here on the chat. We got back from the dead. He says, "Hey everyone, what's up? What's up? Oh, Fark, Louis. What's up, Fark? How are you doing? RSJ fan, what's up? What's up? How are you doing? Becca, everything's awesome for you. Captain Elvin, El Nini. What's up, you guys? How you guys doing? Elvin from Xbox International Podcast in Español in the house. El único concho. He says, ¿Qué onda, gente? Saludos. What's up, único concho? ¿Cómo estás? ¿Cómo estás? Oh, man, brother Rachy in the house, man. What's up, Rachy? How you doing? How you doing, man? Let's keep going down. This is DJ Dana. He says, "What's up, Louis? How you doing, DJ Dana G?" It says, "Louis, it's 7:05 p.m. here." Yes, it's 7:21. We got the same time, but this is the show, DJ Dana, that it all started. When was it? Wow, 124 episodes ago. We've been out here, for a while, and you
Yeah.
found us right here, and you found us between the morning shows with me hanging out, man. It's awesome that you're hanging out with us here tonight. Cyber Gunter, hello, how you doing, sir? What's up? What's up, man? He says, "What's up, gamers? Are you clearing your backlogs of endless gaming?" No, we have not cleared those backlogs. They just get bigger and bigger and bigger. Oh man, look who's here. Sourblow says, "Crazy Louis, don't make me time you out. You ain't gonna time me out shit. So stay right there because you ain't doing shit. I'm ruling this thing today. I'm King Lou today here on the show." Ah! Oh man, Jonas the dad. What's up, Jonas? How you doing? G maybe maybe. What's up, G maybe? How you doing, brother? What's up? What's up? What's up? Oh man, chat has been awesome. Decado, he says, ColecoVision is number one. Huh? ColecoVision, does that still exist? Geek the Sneak What's up, Geek the Sneak? Hello, hello, hello. How you doing? How you doing? Um, Farkay says, Louis, download a free program called Defangler, and it can tell your health of your hard drive. And okay, thanks. I'm gonna start doing that. It's called Defragler. Okay, I need to
Also
get that.
tells you where you're hiding all of your adult files.
That does not exist here on my computer. Can you believe that? I'm not joking. This doesn't exist. I'm not joking with you. This computer does not have any adult files. This is a PG computer. Nice and easy. Oh, thank God. I was going to speaking of PG. I thought I saw Brittany around the house. I was like, thank God she's in here. But, whew. All right, let's keep on going. Let's keep on going. Dead Cato, how you doing, man? And oh man, I'm starting to wonder because Far K leaves right here a beautiful and an awesome €2 super chat, and he says, "Louis, love, bro. I had to do it. I'm sorry. Is that a picture of me with long hair?
Can you can you get that up on the screen for the people to see?
I don't know how
'Cause
to
I
get that
feel like
up.
everyone needs to see that.
I don't know how to get that up on the screen, but 4K has a
Oh,
picture of me
well,
with long hair.
you're in luck because incidentally, I
What?
think I can take care of it for you.
You can take care of it for us? Oh no, let me put you
Mhm.
on the screen so you can, show it to everybody.
All
You're on
right,
screen,
shout out
buddy.
to Fark for this gem. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
You
Let's
ready?
go. Let's go. Let's see it.
I don't see myself up there yet.
You're
I
up there.
feel like you're trying to block this. You're trying to
No,
hide
I'm
it.
not trying to block you. You're up there, man. You're on.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay, there we go.
I
Now it's
told you.
showing. All right, here we go.
What the hell? What?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yep. There we go.
What the hell? Why?
That's right after you heard that Keanu Reeves was going to be in that new movie. You're like, no, it's got to be me. I've got to be the new person in that.
Why with the long hair? What? Man, I look like that
What was
one
the name
dude.
of that again? Oh
What
my
what
god.
kind of reason we talk about Into? No, that was Tom Cruise. Into with the Vampire, was it?
No, 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 no,
No,
no,
no, no,
no. The
no.
new one. The new one that's in the works.
Huh? Wait, he has that long hair?
Yeah.
Wait, he's always had long hair though, but not that long hair though.
What was it? It's oh crap, what was the name of it? The Last Bumbaclot. The Last Bumbaclot, man.
The last Bomber Cloud man, yeah.
Oh,
Jamaica bobsled team.
yeah.
Oh man, I need to see the movie. Joey the Phantom Kraken. What's up, Joey? Oh man, Joey has been just throwing things out there because of the hardware, which we're gonna talk about that later. Oh man, we're gonna have some fun with that hardware talks. Woo! It's Timmy. What's up, Timmy? How you doing, Timmy? Who else is here, man? I think I said hi to Pixel Slapper in the house. What's up, Pixel Slapper? Noise Mofo, what's up, Noise Mofo? Hello, 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 man. There's a lot of people in the chat. My God, we got 24 people here today.
It's
Silent Cypher,
awesome.
Mike
Everyone,
Johnson in the
everyone's
house.
having
What's
fun.
up, Mike Johnson? How you doing? How you doing, brother? Mister Joanne Dark in the house too. Hello, Mister Dark. How are you doing? Oh man, Silent. Let's get the show on the road. And shout out to the 24 people here on the show. Please hit the like button. Please hit the subscribe button. And also hit that bell. Hit that button. Not only that, share it out. Get more people in here. And also, guys, because I always say this in the morning, and it's true. If I don't do this, Sourblow's going to shoot my toe off. And he's not kidding. He told me, he threatened me in the background and said, Louis, if you don't post this and share this out, he's going to shoot my foot. So, yes, guys, join our Discord. Here it is. I just dropped it in the chat. So go ahead and join that Discord so my toes can be saved. So right, let's get the show on the road, baby. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. So takeoff topic of today is Avowed has been delayed. No, why? The only game I was waiting for all year. I wasn't playing any games till Avowed came out. I mean, there isn't any games out there. Just Avowed. Xbox does not have any games. Just this. Does it really, huh? Just showing you guys out there. So yes, Avowed has been delayed. So many games coming. As such, we're moving Avowed to February 18, 2025 to give players backlog some breathing room. You got dude. I mean, Avowed, listen, y'all can be delayed to 2030. We still have a huge backlog of games. That's not gonna help us out. Stay tuned for
That's not going to fix it.
yeah, that's not gonna fix it. Stay tuned for more from our games across Activision, Blizzard, Bethesda, and Xbox Game Studios at Gamescom, which is going to look beautiful, including our August 23rd live stream for a look at Avowed. So, Silent, let's get into this because you know what? This game has been delayed, and it was delayed because of polishing, a couple of issues it had. And I remember Silent Cypher. Me and you talked about delays, and when we talk about delays, we get a lot of slander. Don't you remember all the slander we got from Forza? I mean, we were basically destroyed out there because they were like, "Oh, if the core game is ready, release it." Right? Okay, but we're like,
Yeah,
"No, yeah, remember that, Silent?"
yeah. Even from a handful of our favorite people out there in the community,
Yes.
busting our chops over that one.
Yeah. So my question is,
How's that?
Silent.
How's that going?
Oh, I don't know how's that going. All I know is that Forza Motorsport, it needs a lot more juice to come back alive, and it's been getting some juice. But if, like we said, if it was delayed, it would have been better, right? We called it, and now how, are they responding to that? No, they're like all quiet, like, "Oh, I did not say that. It wasn't my fault." Yes, you did. You did say that, especially live, even on YouTube and everywhere, even on Twitter. You slandered us because of it. And yes, this is our way to get some revenge. No, I'm just kidding. We don't care. But at the end of the day, we were right. Smiles. But anyways, Silent, how do you feel about this delay?
Um, I this is probably going to upset a lot of people, a lot of people in the chat. So I apologize in advance. I really don't care. Um, I
But
mean, yeah, I'm gonna play the game when it comes out, but it's not the thing that I'm like, oh, I gotta play that right this second. Of everything that's coming out, it's kind of not really my primary focus. Um, I'd rather have State of Decay or something like that personally. That's just my personal preference. I'd rather be playing the new Gears or something like that. Like this will be fun. It'll be fun. It looks cool. Um, I just feel like a fantasy game hasn't really pulled me in the same way as like Elder Scrolls Oblivion did back in the day. I don't know what it is. Just for some reason, I just don't get into them the same way that I used to. Um, Maybe it's just because I'm becoming an old man, and I just anything fun, I can't play. Does that sound familiar?
anything fun you
Um,
can play. Who said that?
no, never mind, never mind.
Okay.
But yeah, no, I don't care that much. But honestly, I think it's a good idea for them. Now, is it was it a delay thing or was it just being rescheduled? Kind of like what Joey mentioned up there. I don't really care one way or another. Like it's probably a little bit of both. It probably got delayed because there were certain things that were an issue, and they probably looked at the schedule and they're like, "Yo, if we push this back by even a couple weeks, we're still going to be within the line of fire for all of our other games, right?" So it there's really no delaying a game that's in that time frame, um, delaying it any further into the year. Because like if you delay it any further into the holiday season, you're going to be in a bad spot anyways. So the idea that they had to push it and that it's going to end up being 2025, so be it. I'm okay with that. It's fine. Like I'll get to it when I get to it anyways. But we talked about this a little bit on the back. But personally, because they came out with February is when it's coming out, right, Louis?
Yeah, it's February
It's
18th,
yeah,
February
okay.
18th, 2025. Yeah.
So that was one of the only things that I feel was kind of a misstep. Is like if you need that time and that's how much time you really feel you need, so you pushed out to that point, okay. But personally, like if you could set it up differently, and if the game was going to be ready far ahead of time, put it in January, because there's barely anything coming out in January.
Mhm.
And usually starting into February is when you start to see some of those early year games come out. So it's kind of an unfortunate time, because I feel like as soon as other stuff start planting their flag there, then they're going to.
Your sound went away. Silent? Oh, Silent froze again. No, Silent froze again. But while Silent comes back, are you back, Silent? Oh, you're back. You're back, right?
I didn't freeze.
Oh, it looked like you froze for a bit. Oh no. Oh damn, this computer. I'm telling you, I'm having problems with this computer. Okay, keep going, Silent. Sorry about
Louis, it's
that.
because I'm pasty, I'm white, and unless you see my mouth move a bunch, you just figure that I'm just staying still.
Oh, okay. But
Yeah,
keep on going. Sorry
it's
about that,
fine.
Silent. Sorry about
No,
that.
you're good. You're good.
Okay.
So that's kind of my main critique. Is I think like if it were me, and again, like I'm not one of these decision makers, so it's just my personal opinion. But January is when you land, because a lot of other people have traditionally aimed for a February or early March release date.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you bring this thing out and your anticipation and expectation is I'm going to spend hundreds of hours in this game, or even 40 or 50 hours into this game, let's say it's a shorter experience, you've got other games that are going to start coming out. They're going to start getting announced to release at that same time. January is usually dead, right? So like the couple that we usually know are going to be kind of dead zones are January and usually June or July. Like it bounces back and forth between the years. Sometimes June is packed, sometimes July is, and then the other one's empty. So putting it at a time where nothing else is out, especially if you expect that people are going to put like 30, 40, 50 hours into that game,
Mm-hmm.
that is when you want to do it. Especially if this is a game where, I mean, let's let's acknowledge the fact that Microsoft will probably not advertise until about 30 days before the game comes out. So you're not going to have that big hype build up like you do have in certain games and other things like a Call of Duty. So put it out at a time where you're not going up against a bunch of other bigger games.
Yeah.
That's my only concern. Will the game be just fine? Yes. Will it do just fine? Yeah. It's going to be on Game Pass, so people will get to it when they get to it. But if there's other people out there, and I gotta imagine there are, probably people like me, they're like, well, I'll get to it when I get to it. If there's another game that comes out that I'm more excited about at the time, it's going to take the back seat until I get to it. Like it's just what it
Yeah.
is.
It's crazy. It's crazy. You got so many games, man. I mean, it's insane. And the funny thing is, though, Silent, because I just love when people go out there and say Xbox has no games. Well, guess what? We do, because the truth of the matter is, I mean, look at what it says. All the backlog of games, backlog of games. I mean, it just gets bigger and bigger and bigger and ginormous. I mean, I have, because I remember when the pandemic hit. I sat down. I was like, okay, and I need to sit down and play games and beat games. I beat like 30 games that were on my backlog, like between 20 to 30 games that were sitting on my backlog, thanks to pandemic. Because right then I had the time to play them. But now I just it's getting harder and harder. I mean, look at this Game Pass. Game Pass is filled. So probably, we have it till December next year. We got a lot of stuff jumping
Yeah.
in, and now we got Avowed moved, which on my side, like I'm gonna give my 2 cents about it. That for me, it was a good move. I heard like a lot of people was like, "Well, you guys promised quarterly games and yada 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 and all this stuff." But the thing is, this is where my slander is going to come in, and this is where I'm going to go, and I'm going to throw in some slander with this. Again, we went through Redfall. You know what happened with Redfall, right? Then we had Motorsport. This is why I threw in the slander with Motorsport. We all know how it ended with Motorsport, right? So what is the problem with them delaying this just one game? What is the problem? What they promised you quality? So what, you got to throw some dirt because of that? I mean, what's wrong with you? You need to understand that the studios need to take the time to finish this game. But what do you want it for them to release in a junky state? And then all of us out here saying, "Oh my God, look at this game! They promised us a good game, good graphics, and then Xbox didn't complete with what they're doing, and yada yada yada." They just want, what I feel like is like the whole world out there on Twitter, not only on Twitter, also on YouTube. These famous, awesome flip floppers out there, right? All they want is to grab some stuff to throw some dirt to Xbox, which is insane. That's all they do, is just throw dirt and more dirt and not letting the company cook. And you know what? I'm happy this game is getting released in February. I was really actually hoping that Stalker 2 was going to be moved to January, because we all know the development is still of that game.
There's still time.
There's still time, but at the
Just like there's still time for Avowed to get pushed to another date, which wouldn't surprise me either at this point.
end, but
Just
at
saying.
the end of the day, though, what's important is, and I keep on saying, we have a roadmap, not like some others don't, which we won't say any names. We're looking at you, Sony, but yes, I would have to say it.
You
But yes,
just Louis, so I do want to bring up a point. I do want to bring up a point that that Joey posted in the chat.
what he
So
post? What did Joey
he
say?
made
What?
the comment. He said the reason why you don't see a release in January is because it's after the holidays. People spend a bunch of money already, and January is not a good month for releasing a product.
Uh,
Now, yes, Joey, at one point in time, that was a reality. Back in the day, when everything was physical media, back when we didn't have Game Pass, back when we didn't have Ubisoft Plus, when we didn't have streaming services where these games could be played on a service that you're already paying for, yes, that was a thing. But nowadays, because I can almost guarantee most of the people in here that are, on Game Pass, they probably at least have a couple years worth of Game Pass, right? So I think you could probably agree with me the idea that most of the people that were going to play Avowed initially already have the opportunity to play that game right when it comes out, which is going to be your initial boost of install base. That's going to be the big sales to start off. Now, yes, people don't want to buy games right after the holidays, but there are other options for you to do also. Like, you have Game Pass. You can still, even with very little effort, you can get like a month of Game Pass for $10 pretty easily.
yep.
So you don't have to buy a game for 60 or $70. Like,
Nope.
if you're strapped for cash and the holidays wiped you out, you have options. Like,
Yep.
they're there. And if you don't want it on there, like, I I guess all I'm saying is, like, there are options now. And in a world where we're not stuck to just a physical release or no streaming alternatives where we can play these games as part of a service, I don't feel like that's the same world we live in anymore. Like,
Mm,
we're not defined by those X amount of sales months in a given year,
yep.
because you can release a game at any time and you can have it right out there in front of a massive audience right off the bat.
Agreed.
It doesn't matter when you release.
Exactly. And not only that, when I was throwing out the whole quarter slammer thing, I mean, that people like to throw out, they were going to release it like in the quarterly and stuff like that. Listen, this year, Xbox is going to release like what, like 4 to 5 games right now this year. I mean, we already got
I think
Hellblade
so, yeah.
released. We got Hellblade released, right? We're going to get Indiana Jones that's coming out soon. We got Flight Simulator that's coming out soon. All right. Those are Xbox Studio games, right? And last but not least, people seem to forget about this. People seem to tend like to forget a lot about this. Last but not least, we got Call of Duty, which is part of the Xbox Game Studios. I don't understand why people seem to forget about that. They love to forget about that, and it's true.
I
It's true.
I think I think it's partly due to the fact that, like, this is going to be the first year that we actually have a Call of Duty in Game Pass
Yep.
day and date. So I think a lot of people probably still have blinders on to the fact that, like, this thing's coming out and it's right there on that service that I already have, type of thing. Like, if it's like we always talk about, right, with some of these games where it's like, I'll believe it when I see it, or like it'll feel real when I finally see it. Well, when I'm downloading it onto my system and I'm loading up the game and I'm like, holy crap, it's right here right now, I'm playing this game, like, it's going to feel real at that point. But right now I feel like a lot of people are just kind of cruising along and not really paying that much attention. They know it's coming out. They're just not paying that much attention to where it's coming out.
Yep.
This year will change things for quite a few people when it comes out and it's got Game Pass slapped on all the advertising,
Yep.
because it's going to remind a lot of people that, we talk about saving money going into January, right? Like, right after Christmas, people don't want to pay a bunch of cash. Okay, sure. it's going to be the same thing going into the holidays too. And they've just saved you 60 or $70 by having Call of Duty right in Game Pass.
Mm-hmm.
So again, like Game Pass, we've talked about it before, but it is one of the best deals in gaming right now.
Yes, it
And when
is.
you actually look at those dollar amounts that you're going to save game by game over the next like 4 or 5 months, it's pretty substantial. Like
Mm-hmm.
it adds up really
Yep.
fast.
Yep.
So
Silent, your camera went dark. I don't know what happened to it. Make sure you check it real quick. And yeah, now I think it's time to move up. Silent Cypher, you have anything else to say about this? I mean, I'm gonna jump real quick into crazy updates before we get into our second topic.
nope, that's all I got. I'm gonna reset my stuff real quick. One
All
second.
right, all right. And just like I said, just to add my 2 cents. Yes, if you're having development issues or anything, just delay the game and bring it up in the state that has to be put out so we can actually enjoy and have our fun. That's my final statement with that. So, guys, right now I'm gonna jump into crazy updates. This is where I'm just gonna just sit here and just talk to you guys a little bit about what's going on and what's happening out there. These are just short little subjects that come into mind and they're really important, they're really good. So time to jump into crazy updates, like I was saying, and let's start off with this is actually finally some good news with Sony because man, it's just been a lot of bad news lately, and just more and more bad news with Sony. At least they have a couple good news out there, and let's start off with Sony Santa Monica Studios working on a new game that is not God of War. I wonder what that game is. Which game would that be? Sony's dark horror game by Firespy potentially releasing day one on PC. Wait a minute. Day one on PC? What's going on out here? Sony releasing games day one on PC? What's happening? Uh oh. Uh oh. That's not a good look. That's not a good look on another platform. What's going on, huh? Xbox Wire THQ Showcase Darksiders teaser. It won't be long until we reveal more about where the Darksiders series is going next. But for now, know this: the Four Horsemen will ride again. What do they mean by that? Do they mean we're actually going to get the Four Horsemen on this next series of Darksiders? Which I love that game for a fact. I mean, number one for me was the best. Number two, I don't know. I just didn't get to number two and number three. But Silent, you played Darksiders. Did you find number two, number three good or no?
I didn't play Darksiders.
Oh no, no. Okay, let's keep on moving up then.
No, I wanted to, and again, just like that X-Men game that I was talking about earlier that I've been playing, I think it just came out at a time where I was like, I got other things, or I just like at the time I was like, I don't know. I just never ended up getting to them. But I've heard great things. It's one of those things I never got into, and they have all those remasters that they ended up doing for it. I need to because I'm pretty sure I bought a couple of them. I just never did.
Yeah, you're like me. I have Darksiders 1, but I was about to finish the game and there was like an important armor to get and I didn't get it. And I was like, no! I missed out just to finish the armor on
did you
War. Oh my god.
did you
Oh.
already shout out Ham?
What, Hammond's in there? Oh wait, I gotta shout that out real quick, real quick. We're just reading through the notes and I'm gonna get up to it because
Okay.
yeah, let's just do it right away. CSWS gave me member for 10 months economy class. Thank you so much, Ham Solo. Oh, he crazy, man. He crazy. I mean, today he threw out a lot of slander over there about Souls games, and I was with him 100%. I mean, damn, there's just too many Souls games. Same with open world games. I think it's time, to bring a little bit back, come back to what it used to be classic, linear games, just to 10 to
Mhm.
15 hours. That way we don't have
Mhm.
that big of a damn back catalog of games because it's just too much open world games. It's time to
What
take a
was
break.
what was it that I heard?
What?
Single A. Too soon? Too soon. Okay. Too soon. Too soon. No,
That's a
we
good
talk
game.
we talk about this all the time, right? And
Yeah.
it's I agree 100%. It's the Souls game side of things is oversaturated at this point. Open world is oversaturated. I don't care. I don't care. It's like when we saw the Wukong stuff and we were talking about it like a day ago. I was like, I just don't care, because like as soon as I saw it, that was the vibe I got. Now, it's a bad sign when a game dev comes out and has to be like, our game's not like that. Don't worry. Like there's more action. Dude, I don't if your game's anything like that, I've played too many of them and I'm not interested right now. Like it's what it is. It
Mm-hmm.
I might get to it eventually, but I miss those days of those linear games. I miss your Army of Twos. I miss your Kane and Lynch. I miss those quick small hit games
Yes,
that
exactly.
you could burn through in like 6 to 10 hours and you were done.
Yes. Yes.
Like I'm not getting younger. I don't have less time, or I don't have more time to play video games in a day. So if you give me more curated experiences with a good story or interesting characters, you get me in, you get me out, and then we're good and I get to move on and do something else. Awesome. That's great for me. I
Mm-hmm.
don't need a bunch of fetch quests. I don't need an open world that has barely anything in it to keep me engaged. That's not beneficial for me. That's not beneficial for my time.
I mean, if you're gonna make an open world game, go play GTA, go play Red Dead Redemption, get some ideas from those games because those games are really engaging. You play Red Dead,
So much content.
you want to keep
Yeah.
on playing, you want to keep on riding that horse, you want to stop them robbers, you want to steal the train. There's so much stuff to do. My God.
Those games ooze character
Yep.
and detail, depth. Like those
Ooh.
side missions
Oh yeah.
stand basically uncontended against. Like
Mm-hmm.
there's no competition in a lot of those because like they are professionals at that skill set. No one does it the same as them.
I
And I wish that people did, but then I guess every game would take what, like 15 years to come out.
Oh, yeah, it would take a long time. But you know who does it really well, and I gotta give them hands down. It's Bethesda team. They do really well with because Fallout. The side missions are really good,
Yes.
and same thing with Dead Space. I mean, not, why did I say Dead Space? Starfield. Starfield. Starfield is really engaging. Starfield. I mean, I can never get bored playing Starfield. It's one of those games where I sit there and just play for hours and hours and hours and hours. Same thing with Fallout. Great stuff. Great stuff. So let me just continue here with Gothic Remake Deep Dive Story Exploration, Quest, Combat Locations, and Life Simulation. Oh, we're getting a Gothic remake from THQ. That is awesome. The final level. Farewell from Game Informer. No. After 33 thrilling years of bringing you the latest news, reviews, and insight from the ever evolving world of gaming, it is with a heavy heart that we announce the closure of Game Informer. From the early days of pixelated adventures to today's immersive virtual realms, we've been honored to share this incredible journey with you, our loyal readers. While our presence may stop, the passion for gaming that we've cultivated together will continue to live on. Thank you for being part of our epic quest, and may your own gaming adventures never end. Oh, that was some sad news, you know. That was some sad news that Game Informer had to end. Such sad news, such sad news. I mean, it's always good, you know. It's hard to find real media out here. I don't know because for me, this was like the actual first time that I heard about them. But it's hard nowadays to find real gaming media that calls things right down the middle. It's hard nowadays to find them, but it's sad that they had to close. Ah,
They they to be honest, I think they ended up surviving longer than they might have.
yeah,
Um, like a lot of other publications that we saw ended up getting shuttered earlier over time. Game Informer at least had the benefit of being connected to GameStop and their MVP pass or whatever the heck it was. You get your subscription to save discount or get discount and stuff, and you also got the magazine. Like that was a big thing for them.
yeah,
I feel like
yeah.
that held them in there for quite a while because at least they still had some extra people subscribing to that and like buying memberships.
Hmm.
When a lot of magazines at that point had pretty much just dropped off. Uh, so it's sad to see they had a huge run. Like 33 years is no joke, right? Like
Mm-mm.
that means that they pretty much, with the exception of like 4 or 5 years, We're publishing since I was born. So that's a weird thing to think about.
Uh,
But yeah, good on them. And hopefully everyone ends up finding a good job opportunity somewhere else now that they're closing up shop.
all right, and last but not least, on the crazy updates, the Dark Pictures Anthology Directive 8020 to be revealed at Gamescom. Developers Supermassive Games has teased announcements of a new sci-fi title via official Twitter account. So wait, this is gonna be the new Starfield killer? Uh-oh. Nah, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. But anyways, now it's time for the climb. Topic number 2. All right, let's jump into this because Silent Cipher. I wanted to discuss this with you. Why? I wanted to discuss this with you because man, oh man, hardware sales are down on all companies. Yet, Xbox takes the heat. I don't understand why they keep throwing dirt to Xbox with everything. It happens over there. I don't understand. Why don't they throw dirt on the other ones? I mean, look, Nintendo is down with the 46%, right? We don't see no one going out there doom and gloom. I mean, that's pretty much high over there for Nintendo, right? They're down 46%. And like I said, Xbox is down 42% in the hardware sales, which now moving up to the subject in hand. And yes, I'm going to be slanderous today because you know why? We got to speak on this subject, and it is about PlayStation. And what's funny is media came out, tried to defend this, but you know what? There's just no defending. I mean, damn. Solid quarter for Sony, but PS5 hardware unit sales down 27%. What? Wait a minute. 27% you say, huh? Interesting. Revenue from software sales on the rise year on year, though, with 53.6 million PS5 games sold during the quarter, which is funny because, I love media how it works right now, Silent. They love to like to put the good news in first on PlayStation, then, move a little bit down to the bad, and then put in the good news, then the bad, and the good news, and the bad, and the good, but they like to throw in that good news on PlayStation on how well it did, right? So, software sales represent 486 billion, which is 3.30 billion in revenue out of the total of games and networks services segment, and almost 20% growth year on year. So wait a minute. So a 20% growth is good. But wait, Xbox had 105% growth. If you had the 61% of content and services and the gaming revenue, that makes it 105%. So is Sony a growth of 20% good, yet Xbox growth wasn't good then? Okay, I'm trying to understand how 20 is bigger than 105, but okay. But just stick to what media has to say, right? Because their math is perfect, right? As part of the add-on, content sales particularly grew compared to the same period last year, up to 37%. Okay, nice. Okay, still Xbox is plus 105%, but all right. Or 53.6 million PS5 games were sold during quarter one, 80% of them digitally. Okay, they compared to the 56.5 million during the same period last year. Now, here comes the thing. Revenue from hardware sales were on the decline, though, down 21%. With the PlayStation 5 shifting 2.4 million units during the quarter compared to 3.3 million last year. A 27% decrease in units when compared to the quarter four of FY23, which ended on March 31st, 2024. PS5 sales were down 44% in revenue and 46 from the 4.5 million units shifted then. Hmm. So this is where it gets interesting. This is from what is it? Matt Piscatella? Am I saying it right? Matt Piscatella. Okay.
Yeah.
Aside from PS5 sales, console sales in general remain strong for the current market. The Nintendo Switch, according to Piscatella, which is actually a good news because why? Oh man, I think Silent Cypher is gonna go out there and buy a Switch. Not one, he's gonna probably buy some 5 Switches because man, oh man, wouldn't you like to see Nintendo just beat the PS2 on lifetime sales today? It's only 1.1 million units beating the PS2 in lifetime to date sales, right? On the Xbox side of things, the Xbox Series systems are on a pace with the Xbox 360's LTD numbers, and the best-selling console and that's the best-selling console on Microsoft history. Interesting. So over the weekend, San Cipher, there has been some talks about Xbox should leave the hardware. Question for you, Silent, is should PlayStation leave too with these numbers that are down?
No, those those sales numbers represent success and a thriving hardware industry, and I think that they should hold on and continue to sell, even if the numbers go all the way into the ground, because it's best to double down instead of to diversify your portfolio and actually expand where the market is. It's better. It's better to just double down and just start digging the grave as we
Oh,
move forward. Because I just there's no point in moving to where the customers are, which is primarily uh, everywhere else.
hmm.
But yeah, I don't know. Uh, interesting numbers, I guess. I guess just like the old dad energy that I've had a few times recently. I feel like people really jumping on the bandwagon at wagon and like really parading around these sales numbers, whether they're good or bad,
Hmm.
like they matter at all to my
Exactly.
gaming experience. But whatever. If you would rather sit there and console war about the sales numbers instead of just going to play a video game, then that's your own decision, and good for you. um in regards to Cygnus, oh dear Cygnus, because I know that you like to do this in the chats, but um exclusive growth versus multiplat growth is what he states with those numbers. You need to exclusively grow a better excuse for those sales numbers and why I should care about their sales numbers. It does not affect me if Microsoft sells less consoles when they're expanding their market in other places. That
Now,
doesn't affect me.
now let me read you real quick what analysts said about this. Analysts have been expecting PS5 sales of 3 million for the quarter, significantly more than the actual figure. Morningstar Investment Idol told Bloomberg that the PlayStation business is not good as the numbers suggest. Uh-oh. Because his profits and revenue were inflated by the weak yen. He added that while Sony had said hardware sales would slow down, the pace is faster than anticipated. So what I'm seeing is though, Silent Cipher, is that these guys are out here celebrating because all of a sudden now, I don't know, from out of nowhere, PlayStation has sold 61 million units, but it's actually shipped. But for them, it's a sale at the end of the day because that's how media
Yeah.
considers
Yeah.
it.
How many have actually been logged into?
I don't know because remember,
I'd be
remember,
curious.
remember, and the sheet that was a couple months ago released, they had 49 million active PS5s. So what
But at the time it was like 61 or 62
it
million
it was
sold,
it
quote
was
unquote.
55
Of which
million sold. It was
of
55
which
million sold. Yeah. Uh-huh.
if we're gonna talk numbers, like if people
Yep.
really want us to talk about hardware numbers, we also have to talk about the disparity of systems that are actually not being turned on or used.
Exactly, right? Because that's something that they don't talk about, right? They don't say, okay, we have sold 63 million consoles, we have 60 or 51, 52 million active users, which is the proper way they got to announce it, right? So now we know how many people have actually bought the console. But yet they what they do is they talk sales, right? The sales that they distribute to Walmart, to Kmart. I don't know if Kmart still exists. I don't
I
remember
don't
seeing
think
Kmart.
so.
No,
I
Kmart.
think Kmart's gone now.
Oh, Kmart's gone.
Yeah,
No, I used to love
yeah.
Kmart.
I
But
think
yes,
they finally got rid of the last couple.
no, I love Kmart. But hey, but like I was saying though, right? That's the sales they mention about, but they don't mention like the actual sales where people go out there and buy the console, which they actually did with the sheet that we saw. We saw that there was 49 million active PS5 users in total, right? So now I don't know where they have sold 61 millions. Like I said, media's saying that it's sold, but it actually shipped. I don't really understand why they always got to do the flip flop thing, trying to make it sound good because with that bad news that came in today, because for me, those numbers are not looking as great as they used to. Because I mean, you got 49 active million users and what 20% increase on what? on content and service and games. That's 20% increase. But wait, but Xbox last week, though, Silent Cypher showed that they had a plus 105 on gaming revenue, which was 44, and 61% increase on services and content. But I need to understand, why is with Xbox and the decline of the hardware bad, and they should leave the console market? Why is on PlayStation? It's good that they had growth over here, yet they had a decline on the hardware. Nobody's talking about it, which is funny though, because we saw over the weekend there was a big podcast, right? They're not a big podcast. There were big names in the podcast that mentioned this, and they were saying that Xbox should just leave the hardware, focus on other stuff, which I don't understand why. I don't know why they got to pitch that out there instead of saying, why don't they all three leave the hardware side of things and jump into services, because that's where the money is at. I mean, they should know this. They should know this even way more than I do. They should. Which is funny though, because at the end of the day, this is what one said, right? Um, what can these consoles do? Oh, that was gonna be my next question, but Silent isn't here though. But they said this on Twitter, real quick. I just go to Twitter and just read it to you guys, real quick, since Silent, kind of dropped off. He probably fixing something. So this is what was said on Twitter. Check this out. Let me see, where is it? Here it is. Gosh, it's almost if Sony and Microsoft too. It's almost as if Sony and Microsoft too, after their numbers in last week's earnings report, have run out of people to sell $500 consoles to. Drop the price. So that's basically the advice you're saying for PlayStation to drop the price. How the heck are they going to get the profit to drop the price though? Because remember, PlayStation does get profit from the console. Now Xbox doesn't. So Xbox can actually drop the price. They don't get profit from their consoles. They said it. We sell these consoles on a loss. So basically, just by hearing this, is Silent back? Let me check with you. Yes, he's back. All right, awesome. So then, since you're back, my question is, what can these companies do to boost back up the sales on those consoles? What can they do? I mean, what should they do? Because we all know that right now, like for example, content was a big issue back in the day, but nowadays it seems like there's something missing that they need to do to get these consoles and their sales up on all of them. So what can they do? Let's see what your ideas are.
Can you hear me? First
Yes, I
off.
can hear you.
Okay, cool. Sorry, yeah, I don't know what's going on with my system. Sorry. But that being said, so there's a few different things. Um, Sony does have a softer lineup this year just because of the way that things fell.
Yeah.
It is what it is. They've got plenty of third party stuff. They have some first party stuff that's coming out as well. So it's not like it's a dead year for them by any means. And they're not the only ones struggling, right? Because like you talked, even Xbox and Switch, they're all going through the same thing. Different levels of loss and stuff. But the thing that I can easily point to, in my opinion at least, is you look at the price on these systems. Look at the price versus the previous generations of systems that we saw out there, right?
Yeah.
This is I think the first time I've ever seen where, as we've gotten farther into a generation, the prices have gone up, if not stayed the same for the hardware the whole
Mm-hmm.
way through.
Mm-hmm.
Versus like in previous generations, like, dude, when I got my Xbox, my original Xbox, I'm pretty sure I got that for like 179 when I got it, and that wasn't that long after it came out. I want to say it was only like a year or two after it came out, because I was there like right after Xbox Live started. So you look at something like that, like prices, they dropped them very fast as time went on. Now, obviously, there's a lot of different factors as to why those type of things happen and why it happened to them. Like, you look at the fact that we did have a pandemic, and whether people like it or not, like that did jack up prices. We've had a lot of other things that have happened across the globe
Mm-hmm.
that have increased prices on a lot of different things, a lot of different pieces of hardware, silicone, all that type of stuff. So it's one of those things where, like, they wouldn't like to hear it, but it's the price of your consoles. Like, both Sony and Xbox at this point have expensive ass consoles,
Mm-hmm.
on the premium tiers. And I'm sorry, but like if you want to sell more of those systems and you still think that you're going to sell some more of those, then you need to start dropping the price to a more reasonable price for the consumers. Because like we're still in a situation in the market right now where there's a lot of reluctant buyers because there's a lot of people that are afraid of the possibility of the economic bubble popping. They're afraid of like making it paycheck to paycheck because of the cost of groceries and gas and different things like that. Like there's a lot that goes into this whole thing, but one of the main pain points for these guys, for both Microsoft and Xbox, is if you don't drop the price down, you're not going to start selling more of those consoles at this point. You're going to continue on a downward trend
Mm-hmm.
with the hardware unless you have just nonstop games that like people just cannot ignore completely. But even then, like people are still going to be like, you want $500, especially now when they've shown that you can play your games on other pieces of hardware, right? Like I can play it on my TV, I can play it on my phone, I can, like $500 is not an impulse buy. Um, like a $200 or $300 system was back in the day. It's one of those things that has not changed this generation, and it's weird. Um, Nintendo, and that's the thing, right? Is like Dark. He makes a joke saying that I give any care about Nintendo at all, but he has a point about the fact that Nintendo has continued to sell and no price drop. Well,
Nope.
the difference is Nintendo was priced to be a bargain unit in the first place. It's whether you like it or not, when you buy a Nintendo, you are going to get a maximum on your on your visual fidelity anyways because it's outdated hardware, but it's a $300 console. And in these times, if there's a bunch of games on there that someone wants, $300 is going to get the purchase over a $500 system from Microsoft or Sony. That's why we saw Microsoft bring out the Series S. That's why the Series S, for a good grip of time, was doing really well
Mm-hmm.
because $300 is a price point that people can get their head around. Um, but yeah, I mean, that's my thing is I just feel like because of everything that's going on, like there's a lot of things that happen, but like parts, usually one of the reason why we always see these revisions on the consoles, it's the reason why we saw PlayStation 5 make, I think, 3, if not 4 revisions
Dear
so far,
Lord, they made the heatsink
is
smaller and smaller and smaller. It was just getting
yeah.
smaller each day.
Well, and you do stuff like that so you can cut some of that cost and you can afford to, one, prevent the overheating issues, but you can also then allow yourself some more overhead gap between the pricing that you're spending on those consoles. Like you're freeing yourself up so you're not paying as much per console. Um, and parts are part of the factor of this because if it has anything that has a circuit board, if it has semiconductors, if it has capacitors, any of that stuff, if it's a part and it doesn't go down in price because those things are harder to come by now,
Mm-hmm.
or the labor is more, or the rarity of the items, whatever the case is, like every single thing affects it. But if the parts don't go down in price, Sony can't discount their system, Microsoft can't discount their system for themselves
Mm-hmm.
to give themselves a better bottom line. And if they can't give themselves a better bottom line by reducing the cost of those parts or getting cheaper parts, they're not going to give us the discount on the hardware. They're not going to, out of the goodness of their heart, be like, guys, I know it's been 3 or 4 years and you've had to pay the same price for this thing all this time, but out of the goodness of our hearts, even though we're going to have to still eat the cost, we're going to give you this system for cheaper. That's not how the market works.
Mm-hmm.
Like
And
they will give us a discount when they have a discount and they can give themselves more money. That's
that,
how it works.
And now, silent now since you mentioned Nintendo, and like I said, its hardware is down too. But here's the thing: out of all these three consoles, Nintendo's actually the cheapest one, right? But the thing is, if we see that Nintendo is down, I mean, there is a big problem going out there, and it's not it's not the problem with the cost of the problem with the cost is the problem with the cost of life right now. I mean, silent this. I mean, look what happened this year, right? I mean, I mentioned this before, and I repeat it again. When I saw that iPhones were down 10%, I said this is going to be a very bad year for hardware. This is going to be a
That's
very bad year.
iPhone though.
Oh, I know it's iPhone. You probably might. I mean,
Baby's
I know,
first phone.
I know. You don't like the
Yeah, baby's
phone,
first phone.
but silent though. At the end of the day, iPhones is a very popular phone, and for being a very popular phone, this is a necessity, right? A cell phone is a necessity, and if you see that big name just go down, I mean, I called it months ago. I said everything's just gonna go down. It's just gonna drop. The sales are gonna drop. There's gonna be a main issue. Not only that, silent. Look what happened. What was it? Monday, Tuesday? I think it was Monday. I mean, the stock market blew up. I mean, I was watching my bitcoins go down. I was like, no, my bitcoins are going down. I mean, I was scared shitless. It's like, wait, is this like the whole markets? Everything just crashed. I mean, it's just
Yeah.
been one awful, awful year for pretty much everyone out there, and it's insane, right? I mean, because we see these consoles go down, but like their hardware is with declines and everything. But at the end of the day, though, they should sit down, like you said, reconsider and say, okay, like for example, Xbox is releasing the new digital console, which is going to be 450, right? 1 TD. They're releasing the what did chat say?
Uh, Save it. No, no. It's laughable the fact that that console is coming out at 450. Like I'm
Yeah,
sorry, but you can kiss my you
it
can
should
you
be.
can
It
kiss my
should.
grits.
It should be in 400 to
It
be
should
honest.
be
It should be in
400.
400.
Like
Yes.
I
Give it.
know it doesn't
Give
cost
it.
that much
Give
for
it
them to take out a
400.
drive, but still.
Exactly. I mean, give it for $400 because you already took the CD. I just dropped it to 400. That for me, that's a good price.
Well,
Good price range to get.
that's what we used to see back in the day, and
Yeah.
that's what I'm talking about. Is like I know not everyone agrees with me in regards to like parts and some of the stuff coming from different places.
Hmm.
I see you guys in the chat. I'm aware. But let's go back and let's look at something like the PS2. Okay? You go from the PS2 Fat to the PS2 Slim.
Yep.
The PS2 Slim drive was significantly less for them to put into each one of those systems. No moving parts except for the spindle. There were a lot of things that they reduced on so that way they could save themselves more money. And in the process, once they saved themselves enough money, they started reducing the price of the system. It was a affordable system because a lot of the stuff that they had in that system was significantly cheaper by the time they did a PS2 Slim. That's how this usually goes in the market. And we're not there. And that's because there's a lot of different things. There's the fluctuations in the markets, there's the pricing in the markets, there's the inflation issues,
Hmm. I
there's
don't know.
shipping issues,
The
like there's
manufacturing
a lot.
issues. Remember the chips? The chips were a main issue out there. Remember we like to get a car, you had to wait pretty much like a year to get a brand new car.
Yeah.
There was a lot of issues
Eh,
going on around the world. It's crazy. And right now it's probably really expensive. I mean, I was even talking about this with somebody. I think it was I was talking about this with Mike Mullis yesterday on his show that I dropped into Xbox Live, was playing the game. It was like, are we live in Rumble? It's like, yes, we're live in Rumble. Shout out to Mike Mullis and HDK. Oh, great! It's a good time hanging out with them and play some Dying Light. Um, we were talking about this that even a 4090, it's like $2,000. Holy cool! I mean, who the heck is just gonna whip out $2,000 just to get a graphic card? I mean, damn, that's
it's
expensive.
it's dropped a bit. It's dropped a bit here, I think, hasn't it?
Yeah, I
I
think.
think. I mean, probably not by a lot. It's probably still way too expensive. And Cygnus, I agree with you, right? Like inflation globally didn't help the manufacturing either. Uh, I guess my thing with that though is like I don't care if the inflation caused these things to not be cheaper or not. In the fact that I'm the consumer. And if you don't provide me a system that is more affordable and reasonable, and I'm interested in buying it because it feels like a good deal to me, I'm not going to buy your system. And that's what all this draws to, right? Is like we go back to the old days of the PS2, the Xbox, all those when they got down to those basement bargain prices. When you saw those, it was way easier for people to just flock to those systems when they saw significant price changes because they're like, "Oh, I can afford that. That's not that much. Like I'll get it." It was more of an impulse buy. $500 for a system, like the fact we're this far into the generation, yeah, I mean, inflation didn't help, but that does not. I'm a consumer, and I really don't care what your reason is for why you couldn't make your system cheaper for me. If you can't make your system cheaper for me, I will vote with my wallet. So it's really up to them if they want to do the due diligence, try and figure out parts that they can put in to make it cheaper, but still be a quality product. If they can't make that work at that time, they can't be shocked about the fact that their hardware sales are going down. Because if you don't drop the price after X amount of years, you're not going to get sales. And if you
Yeah.
don't drop that price, you're not going to get anyone interested in those. Like, you can't have it both ways. You can't throw a fit about your $500 system not selling, but not drop the price to try
Yep.
and get it to sell. Like,
It's crazy. It's crazy out here, son. It's crazy. But like I said, though, this has been like an awful year after year thing situation. I mean, we all seen what the pandemic did. We all see, and these are the after pandemic effects that are going on. I mean, we're gonna keep on seeing it probably till next year, and next year probably things are gonna start picking up. But at the end of the day, though, it's been what 4 we're like right now into mid gen right now we're thinking that we're gonna do the jump in 2026. There should have been like a way just to like get us like a way like a console that could be in a cheaper price for us to buy and to enjoy, you know.
yes,
Yeah,
and to go back to Cygnus and I feel like we're just going back and forth. One of these
yeah,
times we just got to like jump into a chat together and just like duke it out on the topics, or just have you on one of these times so we can just go back to back. But so they made the comment. They said Xbox did a huge discount last holiday. Series X being 350, Series S being 150 with the free headphones. I didn't see the headphones deal, but that's awesome. Um, and he says, I can see that happening this holiday. I agree fully. Like, I'm sure they'll have another holiday deal like that. I think the thing that saddens me and shocks me, though, is like back in the day, it wasn't just holiday deals. Like, we got to a point where after the first few years, when a console generation was going,
yeah.
that was the price all the
Here's
time. It wasn't a holiday deal anymore. It was the price. Like that
yeah.
was MSRP after X amount of years, and
Mhm.
that's not how it is anymore. It's
It is,
weird.
it's weird. Yeah, that's because of the way things are going with costs and everything. But Cygnus, the thing is, what we're talking about is we're just asking a question, right? The question is out there, like, what can they do to improve, like, for the hardware sales to boost up a little bit? Because, like, we're seeing, right, this is not a problem just only for Xbox. The thing is that I came to this term into this conversation was because over the weekend we saw big names out there do a podcast and say that Xbox should just leave the hardware side of things and focus on other stuff. But when I heard that, I was like, I don't agree with you because this is a year where everyone is down. Nobody's on hardware are just not going to be positive. You're going to have to wait to see what happens next year to see how it goes. But they're already, and not only that, we knew this months and months ago. We even saw Phil come out and talk about it. We saw Sony even come out and talk about it. The other ones that didn't like say anything was Nintendo that they mentioned like I don't know if our hardwares are gonna go down. I didn't see Nintendo talk about it. If it's out there, then I have to look it up and see. But yes, everyone this year knows that there was gonna be a big decline on the hardware side of things. Now, what can they do to boost it up? It's like Osalan says, like on the OG Xbox days back in the day. I remember you can get like an Xbox without the big, what's the thing, the 360, the big thing it had, like the memory thing it had on the top. You can get it
Oh
for
yeah,
like, yeah, you can get it
yeah.
for like
You had
$200, and then you can buy the
yes.
memory, stick it onto it. I mean, you had so many options to buy that console in so many ways that I think that there should have been right now with all the technology and everything that there should have been like a cheaper price. Maybe we're wrong because of the way hardware is costing right now, But at the end of the day though, it's like I said, I brought this conversation because of a podcast that went out there saying that Xbox shouldn't just leave the hardware platform and just focus on something else. That's why I brought this
So
conversation, which is fun.
so Louis, just to dive into something real fast. I
Go for
promise
it.
I'll keep it short
Oh,
this
no
time.
problem. Go for it.
'Cause
Go
I
for it.
feel
We got
like
time.
I've
We got
just
time.
been verbal diarrhea.
It's
Um,
okay. We got
okay, so you bring up the Xbox 360, and yes, 100%. Like they did a really good job at having good discounts, good pricing on that. It was a really good situation for them when it came to those systems because of the different alleyways that they provide you to get those pricing discounts. Like you said, not having the 20 gig hard drive on the top, that saved you. I think that thing, if I remember correctly, when I was at the store, I think we were selling that. It was like 130 to 150 bucks on its own because it was a proprietary hard drive that snapped on the top.
yeah.
And so, you had to pay the Microsoft tax to get your overly expensive hard drive and hooked up on that system. And yeah, if you didn't get that, I want to say the core, which was the green box, that was the one where it was like 2 gigs or 4 gigs, if I remember correctly, and it was internal storage instead. But you could still use the memory cards and everything. And that's one of those things where I could see them maybe doing something like that nowadays, but it also gets a little trickier. Um, because I suppose you could always go with the idea of like you could do an all. Oh, this wouldn't be received well by a lot of people, and adding another SKU is probably not a good idea. But if you wanted to, if you really wanted to, you could technically do a cloud version console only, right? Where you had like, let's say, I don't know, like a couple hundred gigs or something on the actual internal, but
Yeah.
then everything else you were just streaming the games. you
Yep.
could you could technically do something like that, and you could drop the price a bunch because you'd get rid of like the SSD infrastructure and technology that's in there for the external storage. You could discount a lot of those things, like what they
Mhm.
did with the 360. But I feel like that was a moment in time where they were able to get away with stuff like that because games were so small. Because
Yep.
they had a cap on Xbox Live Arcade games initially, where it was only like 128 megabytes was the
Hmm.
max size of your game, right? So you could do a memory card, you could do the 2 or 4 gigs of storage on your system. Games are too big for them to play those games and discount by removing storage like they did in the past, which is a bummer. Because like if you could do something like that, that would be a really quick, dirty way to save the consumer and also save themselves quite a bit of money. Just get rid of the storage or reduce the storage, but games are too big. Like Call of
Jesus
Duty on
Christ.
its own is like a couple hundred gigs.
Jesus. I mean, silent. Let me tell you something. I bought MK1 and it's 188 gigs.
Yes, yes.
188 gigs, just Mortal Kombat 1. I did not know how big that sucker was. Like, holy crap. I mean, this thing game is huge. And they're getting bigger and bigger and bigger. This is why, like, we mentioned, right, that the Xbox, needs kind of like some more RAM and also needs some more space in there, right? Because at the end of the day, damn, these games are just getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Just Mortal Kombat 1. I was like, wait, this can't be true. Then I sat down and was like, why does it have this much gigs into it? I mean, it's not like a big game, like a huge game. Jesus, it's huge. It's as big as almost Call of
Yep.
Duty. It's insane. These games are asking or demanding more stuff, more space than ever. Oh my god. But yeah, I mean, like for example, the Series S, right? They discontinued, right? The 500 gigs. They discontinued it, right? Or they didn't. I don't know if they did or they didn't.
The 500 gig
Yeah,
Series X,
Series S. I
S,
mean,
S.
yeah.
Yes, yeah, they did. Sorry, I had to think about that. That's been almost like a year, I think.
Yeah, I
I
think
think
that
like right around a year. I think they
because
got
they're
rid of
coming
those
out
finally.
because they're coming out with 1 TB, but that 1 TB is going to be 350. Now, for me, that 1 TB should have been the same price as the Series S, and that was another move that I was like, why did they got rid of it? They should just lower that console down to $200 and have the 200, have the S5, 512 gigabytes and $200. Have the 1 TB and 300, then have the Xbox, Series X 1 terabyte, right? Be 400, and then have this one be in 500, the one with the disc. And that's all you had to do. And the 2 TB should have been what, 600. That would have been good. That would have been an offer for everybody. And let's say, oh my God, yes, we can buy a Series S for 200. It would have been a good price to people for people to go out there and buy this sucker. That's what I think, though. But hey, what can we do, though? It just sucks. We have to wait and see what happens next year, because this year is just not looking good for any of these companies on the side of hardware. It's looking awful, 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 awful. So let's see what happens next year. Let's see, that those things go up, especially now since we're getting Call of Duty inside of Game Pass. We've seen people just go nuts and buying Xboxes because of Call of Duty dropping into Game Pass. And not only that, after they start dropping those ABK games, we might see those consoles go up in sales. Not to say they're going to be PlayStation, but they will go up.
I don't see a world where we see a massive fluctuation
No.
in the hardware until we see like real reduction in price.
Yeah. But let's see what happens. Like I said, let's see what happens next year, because supposedly technology is supposed to come out cheap sooner than later. So let's see what happens with technology. Let's cross fingers it does. Yeah. I know once technology starts to drop, I know these consoles are going to go are going to drop right away in price and do something about it. But yeah, let's continue because what's up? What are you saying?
Louis, you should touch real quick on David Cohen's message in there.
All right, let me touch real
I
quick
want
with
to
David.
hear your thoughts on this.
Which one? On the portable?
Yes.
Okay, David Cohen with a beautiful and an awesome message. Because real quick, let me jump, let me get it. It says, I think the new portable with Xbox will be a perfect rival to Nintendo, which is true. I believe that's so, because I think it's time for them to evolve, and I think it's time for them to do that, right? To evolve and get a portable out there, they need to do this. Bro, it's Nintendo, since it has the ability to make powerful consoles like the OG Xbox and the Xbox 360 and the Series and the Xbox Series X. So a handheld will be a no-brainer, 100%. I mean, if that actually comes out, we actually do see this handheld, right? If it does come out, like it's been announced, right? We all know, like, probably those rumors have been 100% true. Let's pray so. Because I remember even Wondering Dutch also talked to him. Shout out to him from Midweek Mix Up. He said when he went to Gamescom, they were asked a lot of questions about handhelds. So if they do actually release this sucker, oh my God, it's gonna be amazing. And if they do add, like, for example, Steam, they add Epic stores and everything into that sucker, it's just gonna be kaboom right there. It's gonna be kaboom moment, because then they can actually have a console that can go out and rival Nintendo's Switch. They can. They will with the service and everything. I mean, it's gonna be amazing. What are your thoughts on that, Simon?
I think as long as the price point
Yeah,
is
that's another
good,
one. The price, yeah.
I think that's, again, we just talked about it with the consoles, the main consoles. These handhelds that we've seen are traditionally a couple $100 more, which is, I don't know if they're going to bring out an Xbox handheld that's going to be 500 or more. But they've got to have tech in there that's good enough to play the games, right? So it does make me wonder, because we haven't had a substantial upgrade recently.
Nope.
with like parts where they could actually do something like even bigger and that small for way cheaper. You look at something like Steam Deck, like Cygnus mentions, and like Steam Deck does really well. The pricing for that seems to be working out pretty well for them. We could do something like that. I'm just curious, like, where their price point would be. I don't see them doing $300. I want to see them doing $300
Same here.
because I feel like $300 would be a really good spot for them. And because I think like the PS Vita, I think was $249 or $300. I would love it, but I don't think that they're going to hit that $300 price point. But if they did, yes, I absolutely think that they could crunch in on Nintendo. And one other thing I wanted to say real quick, because it goes back to our conversation about hardware sales. I don't think that Nintendo's necessarily dropping low in sales because of pricing or anything like that, or because it's just a
Oh,
down year.
oh, because of
I
the.
I think realistically, it's just a situation of market saturation. Like as we're talking about, the whole idea is the fact that they're getting close to Sony's record of like 100 and whatever, right? There's well no, I'm just saying like there's only so many people in that
Mhm.
pool of gaming, right? And so it's like once you get to a certain point, you're not going to have as many sales anymore because there's just not that many people that are buying at that point. Like 100 and what was it? Like 122, 130
What
million?
for the PS5? It's 150 mil. I think it is 150 mil.
150. Okay. So
Yeah.
you get to that point and we've talked about it before where like usually that's like the most that you end up seeing when it comes to these generations when you combine them together is like it doesn't go much farther than that for consoles
Nope.
because like that market is not that much bigger past that. So I kind of think like they're getting to the ceiling when it comes to what they can sell with that system. I'll be curious if they sell them. Like 1 million remaining is not bad. They
No,
might
it's
still be able
not.
to do it,
They're
but
gonna be able to do it. And remember, they're also the Switch 2 is gonna be announced pretty soon. So that's another thing.
supposedly,
Supposedly,
supposedly.
yeah. I mean, they said it. They were announced it like later on during the year, and I think they're announcing like through what is it, October, November, close to that point. I think they're gonna announce it because they
Uh,
really. I think their goal is to beat the PlayStation. Um, lifetime sale with the PS2. I think that's their goal, and if
yes,
they
yes,
actually do that, that's another thing. That's another thing that PlayStation gets to be dethroned from. Family.
I I think I think as they get closer though, like as they get
Mhm.
closer to this number, that sales goal, I think it's going to get harder for them though
Yep.
because like you're getting to the point where there's not a lot of people buying that don't already have one.
Hmm.
Um, you'll get the holiday bump for sure if they release a special edition version of the console again,
Oh, they
like they did,
will.
like
They
they did with the
will.
Zelda one,
They're
right?
doing
Like
the Zelda
they'll
one
probably
too.
see some more.
Yep, they will.
So they could probably still do it, but that last little bit of that climb is going to be a little harder than
Yep.
usual
Yep.
because like there's not as many people that you haven't already sold that console to. Most of the people that are buying the consoles at this point are folks like MJ Dark who are buying their seventh or eighth one to get them over that number. So yeah, that's all I have.
All right, all right, all right, all right. But real quick, let me do the one amazing shout out, man. Shout out to the 38 people out there watching the show on Twitter, on Facebook, and also on. I don't think Facebook's on there, but if they are, shout out to the 38 people watching the show on Twitter, Twitch, and yeah, 38 people out there. Also Facebook, and not only that, shout out to the amazing 28 people here on the show today. My God, chat has been on fire. Man, like I said, please hit the like button, please hit the subscribe button, and also hit that bell. Not only that, share this out to get more and more people in here, man. Chat has been on a rampage today. This is awesome. I just love it when we get them talking. I love that. I love to see chat talking. And not only that, remember, please join the Discord so I can keep my 10 toes before Sourblow shoots one of them. Here you go. I'm putting the Discord in there. If you guys want to join it, join it. We're there. If you want to play a game, just say, "Hey Lou, what you doing?" "Oh man, I'll be saying I'm doing nothing. Let's play a game." "Okay, let's go play a game." I'm out there always. And speaking of which, MJ Dark sends a beautiful and an awesome $2 super chat. He says, "My revenge arc is coming. Let's go, Nintendo."
You, your revenge arc is a non-starter because
uh,
unless Nintendo actually brings out competent hardware this next time, it's just going to be obsolete within a year again.
yep.
So which is fine. Like if you want to play games that are designed for that specific art style, that's great. If you want something that looks realistic, you don't go to Nintendo. It's what it is, and it's what it'll always
Eh,
be, unless
oh, Lord.
Nintendo grows some stones and actually brings out hardware that's competent. So we'll see what happens. And then Dark also mentioned, he said the Xbox handheld needs to provide price to performance, and I think it can't exceed $600. I would be shocked, honestly, if it gets close to $600.
Mhm.
I don't, I don't see it. I don't know. Just something about it. I don't see it. 600 would be shocking. Like, I know we've seen it with the ROG Ally and some of these others, but I don't know. That feels like a bridge too far at this moment, unless it can do um, everything possible that we have the hopes for. Well, we'll see.
So real quick, let me have some fun with the chat. Chat, I got a question for y'all, and let's be honest about this. If Xbox does release a handheld at a very good price, my question is, right, because I believe they're going to also release, I believe they're going to also release a station console, right? I believe that too. They're going to release a station, probably more powerful console than the handheld. So my question is to the chat: which one would you get? Would you just stick to the handheld, or would you get them both, or you're just gonna buy the station console? I want to see what y'all got to say about this. Because me, for example, if I get a handheld and I get a station console, I'm getting them both. I am getting them both. I'm hopping into both. I don't care. I'm just that nuts. I will get them both because hey, that's gonna be my on the go console, and I will have a station console like I always love and have it on here because that's why I love to game on my Series X. Very comfortable console. And that's the question I'm asking y'all. Would you get them both? Would you just get one? I want to see what y'all have to say. And man, since we are on the Nintendo and Xbox talks, guess what, Simon? For the last topic, we have the cruise topic is Xbox looks to be like Nintendo. Really interesting. So, new Xbox, more games, better structure, no delays, and more like Nintendo. What's going on here? Windows Central, Microsoft and Activision has made a new smaller team within Blizzard for double A titles based on
Are they
ex- what?
are they reducing their hardware down so it can only play games at 480p? Is that what we're talking about? Or is it something else?
Oh no, it's just a studio just to make double A titles, or
Oh,
sing
oh,
or single A titles or partly a minus A
single A,
title.
single A titles.
I
Yes.
just have to,
Go on.
we
Go
had
on.
to throw this
Sorry.
ladder. That was fun. That was fun. Titles based on existing franchises. Employees from King and other parts of Activision have formed a new team within the Blizzard umbrella. Added some context here about the smaller teams. Microsoft wants its Xbox studios to collaborate more closely and support each other, similarly to Nintendo and, well, how Blizzard has often operated. The coalition has been known to be supporting teams like Undead Labs, etc. Like Tom Warren noted in his newsletter linked in the article, Microsoft has been trying to bring its teams physically closer together, which is an amazing idea, Science Cypher. I mean, hearing this news, when I read about this, I was really happy. I was like, thank God, because seriously, I'll be honest with you, AAA games are amazing, but they're really really expensive. And not only that, they're making them way too big. So like I said, we've talked about this before. We need smaller linear games, just like 6 to 10 hours, just have fun shooting, get in there, have a little fun plot, kind of like back in the 80s, with the action movies. We didn't care what the plot was. All we cared was about Arnie going in there blowing up stuff. That's all we cared about, you know? And sometimes they had a good plot. Like for example, Commando, the plot was they stole his daughter. So he had to go out there and blow things up.
That's not much of a plot, Louis.
I know.
I
That's,
I
that's
know what you're
simple.
saying. I know what you're saying, but I would argue that more often than not, it was just entertaining to watch and see how they tried to build a plot around that. Right? Like, he stole his daughter, now it's serious.
That
And
was serious.
for them to try and make it like it was some really serious storyline, while like all you saw him constantly doing was flexing his muscles every 2 seconds,
Yeah, Flex's
or being
muscle.
like, stick around, or like, any
Yeah.
of the awful one liners, like that was the best part for sure.
Oh Lord, yes, yes, yes. I mean, damn. Like I said, those plots were back in the day were the best because we just were like, okay, they stole his daughter. Now the man is a retired, army guy. He was a ranger. He was pretty much everything.
and
Wherever
he
he went, he never had a scar on his face or anything. This man
and
blew
he
everything up, no
pushed
problem.
a freaking Ford Bronco down a hill and started
Yes,
right into it, and
with no brakes, huh? It didn't have any brakes.
picked picked a guy up and just held him over a
Oh,
cliff. And
yeah. What was
yeah,
the guy's name? I forgot what his name. Yeah, he said it.
oh crap,
Oh my god, that was a funny
forgetting
scene.
his name. Yeah,
It was like. Remember, I told you I was gonna kill you last. I
I
lied, and
lied.
I lied. That wasn't that
The worst one liners,
Sometimes-
but so
oh
good,
my god, yeah,
so
it's
good.
so good. It's so good. Like I said, I'm happy that they're actually working on this. So silent,
Yeah.
question is, will it work on other studio games to just focus on, these on Blizzard and ABK titles? I mean, if I was honest with everything they have, that back library, right, on the Xbox Studios, the question is, what would you like from all of these cool studios? What would you like for them to bring back from ABK, from Bethesda, and also Xbox Game Studios? What would you like to see?
Uh, well, given as I jumped into that X-Men game this last weekend,
Yes.
and I happened to see that that was an Activision game. And then given as I was looking yesterday and I was like, man, there's got to be some more X-Men games out there, right? Something on the 360, and I saw that there was a X-Men game on 360 that came out that was also by Activision.
Yes.
That was like, oh, that's interesting. Okay, um, that those would be cool to see. Obviously, license rights, like all sorts of issues there, I'm sure. But
Oh,
one of the things that I would love to see is I want to see Tony Hawk come back.
yes.
Um, I want to see Tony Hawk come back. I want to see Guitar Hero come back.
Oh my god.
Uh, I mean, there's a lot of things that I'm not thinking right off the top of my head, but those are a couple of the things that I have missed. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2 was awesome when they
Mhm.
released that a few years back. It really pisses me off that ActiBliz decided to shutter the studio and turn them into a support studio, like they did to pretty much everyone else for years because Bobby Kotick was a tool bag. But things happen. Fingers crossed they can spin up some of these little studios and they can start bringing some stuff back. They have so many different IPs that they could play around with. Roberto Z in the chat mentions Pitfall. Like
Yes. Oh my god.
there's all sorts of stuff that they could bring it in, and they could bring, like, I don't care if you even do the same thing that Embracer started to do initially, where they were bringing out remasters of the games. I don't care if it's even just a remaster. Just get something out there so we can play these games on more modern systems. Because a lot of these games have pretty much just fallen to time and they've gotten lost because of whatever rights or whatever issues. And
Hmm.
if you could bring those games back out so new generations of people could play them, that would be awesome. Like, that would get a lot of people stoked, and you might be able to revive some things and have some games like make some pretty good progress. True crime, just like Star Traffic mentioned, also, like there's a lot that
There's a
they have.
lot. There's a lot that they
So
have. It's a big library, Sunset. I mean, they got a
what's
big
what
library.
what are yours? Because I'm sure you probably have some off. Do
Yes,
you
I do.
not?
Yes,
Okay,
I do.
okay.
I do
What do you
some.
got?
Yeah, I do. I
Yeah,
do. Like for example, I don't know if you ever played Shadow Warrior, right? Remember the Shadow Warrior game that came back in the day? Shadow Warrior, the one with the ninja and the sword and everything. They all
that
show.
wasn't
I no, no, no.
that
I'm just.
wasn't fun.
I know. I know. I'm using it
Oh,
as an
okay.
example, right?
Oh, okay,
So
okay.
that Shadow Warrior game, I sat down one day. I literally sat down one day and beat the game, and for me, I had a lot of fun with Shadow Warrior 3. So why don't you make a Hexen like that? Hexen would be a good title,
Yes.
to drop in
Yep.
there, just like Shadow Warrior. Make it a simple, let's say single A game, because I just love that term, single A. A simple double A game. I'm just trolling with the single A thing I heard. That was so funny. But yeah, but make games like that, because like I said, we need some of those games back into our hearts, that we sit there. Go right through it. Enjoy. Like I said, simple '80s movie stuff. Like it was an hour and 30 minutes. Not this 2 or 3 hour long movies like they've been doing it lately. I don't understand why. Just put a simple plot in it. Head in there, grab a katana, grab everything, or you use magic and do a lot of stuff. Same thing with Quake though. I mean, I don't know if Quake needs to come back big. If it does, cool. If it does, make Quake like that too. Quake will be a fun game, to deliver that way. You also got Prototype, but Prototype is a pretty big open world game, wasn't it? Prototype was a big open world game. It was. What was it, Semi? It was an open world game. Prototype was fun though. It was engaging too. It was
I
engaging.
don't even remember,
You don't remember
honestly.
Prototype? Oh man, that
No.
game had that man. That man had like venom inside him. It was like just
Yeah, that was
clawing.
the one that had like
Yeah,
in the one arm, or at least
yeah.
one arm. Yeah,
Yeah, but it was
I got you.
engaging. It was fun. Even though it was open world, it was fun. It was engaging. True Crime is another good game that should be come back. I mean, it also mentions Singularity. What other games, they can bring back from all those studios? My God, they got so much stuff. Oh, another example, you can also use that studio to make a World of Warcraft. Not a World of Warcraft, just a Warcraft game, Not World of Warcraft, just a normal Warcraft game. Simple, easy, get it out there, kind of like well, how Warcraft used to be in the days where you had to get a person to build a house, cut down trees, stuff like that. RTS, bring that back. Also, StarCraft, bring that back. They got so much stuff. Tony Hawk, like you mentioned, Tony Hawk, my God, I really missed those games, and I can't wait for them to drop on Game Pass because man, once they drop, I'm gonna go insane playing them because it's gonna bring me back to my childhood. When I was
You
playing on PlayStation.
you
What?
saw that they just dropped what they've got, the Crash
Yes.
Insane
Same
Trilogy.
trilogy, which is amazing. I can't wait.
Really
I
good.
don't know. I don't know why they haven't dropped the Crash Bandicoot kart game. I'm waiting for that sucker. That for me is gonna be it's gonna be huge, especially on Game Pass. I mean, that game is gonna turn heads right there. People are gonna look at this. I mean, it's just gonna be insane. We need that Crash Bandicoot kart racer drop in. But like I said, they got so much stuff they could work on for Activision Blizzard. And look at chat. Chat's even adding some games out there. I mean, like I said, they mentioned Singularity. They mentioned, Quake. They mentioned, a bunch of stuff. Blur. Blur is another one. My God, they got so much stuff. And also, you mentioned the superhero games, right? That is something I'm waiting for.
Yes.
I don't know why they still haven't sat down and said, okay, let's bring back X-Men Origins Wolverine. Let's bring back
Dude, e-
Deadpool.
even
Let's bring,
more so, even more so, they
yeah.
had like 6 or 7 Spider-Man games that came out.
Yes, they do, and I own and I
So
own one of those Spider-Man games. I own
so
one
do
of
I.
those.
So
I
do I.
own one of those. I own the Amazing Spider-Man 2, which my buddy Maurice, the Xbox tester, asked me
Mhm.
if he could use it for his channel. I said, "Go ahead, get into my account, use it," and he did. I mean, it was amazing. Just to do the
And
comparisons,
then Louis' account was hacked
No,
forever.
no, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. I still use it. No,
Just
no,
kidding.
no, he's a good guy.
Just kidding. He's good.
He's
He's good people.
he's good people. He's my
Um,
brother. I love Maurice,
but
brother.
but you do mention stuff like Deadpool, and
Yes,
Deadpool's in an interesting spot because
yes, it
Deadpool,
is.
they had the 360 version, and then they ended up bringing out a remaster version back on Xbox One, and that is backwards compatible, so you can actually play the Deadpool game on your Xbox Series S or X right now.
Really?
Yep, I've got it
Dang.
installed on my Series S upstairs in the living room.
They also mentioned some TNMT games. I mean, there's just so much games. Transformers too. Don't forget about Transformers.
A
I don't know.
lot of Transformers games.
I don't know why we still they got to work on the Transformers game. I mean, we need like a big Transformers game, like a. I mean,
One.
side beat 'em up Transformers where you can use Optimus Prime, he can use his ultimate power to defeat. What's this guy's name? Crapticon. What's his name? Um, um,
Every time.
What's
Every
the
time.
guy's name? I keep man. He's the leader
M-
of the bad guys.
Megatron.
Yes, Megatron. Yes, do like a side by side fighting game, stuff like that. They can do so much with this single studio, man. I just
And
have fun.
Louis, don't forget that Hasbro came out really positive about the idea of bringing back Transformers and working with them. Like
Ooh.
I forget when it was. It was within the last, what, 6 months to a year.
Uh-huh.
I think Microsoft instigated it, or Hasbro did, or someone on Twitter instigated it. And then the other one responded back and was like, we would love to do that. And you're just like, well, now you have the opportunity because they're in your house. So you could do this now. We haven't heard anything yet, but you have to imagine there's no way that they're going to let Transformers just sit there.
They can't. I mean,
No.
that's something that needs to come back. It needs to come back. It needs to, get pumped up. Especially, they're still making movies on the series, right? I mean,
They have a
I
new one coming out here in like 2 months or a month.
really, what's it called now?
I think so.
Because man, I'm telling you, I haven't watched the Bumblebee Transformers. I can't wait to watch it. But I watched the rest of Transformers one. But yes, we do need those games to come back. Stuff like that needs to actually come back. And this is small double A studio that that's just gonna work on this. Fantastic. And not only that, it doesn't have to be
Yep.
very long.
Here we
Long
go. Okay.
games.
All right, Louis, here you go. So,
Yeah.
Transformers 1 comes out September 20th, and it has Chris Hemsworth in it.
Really? We
It
got Thor in
has
it?
it
John
has
Cena.
Scarlett Johansson.
Okay. Is John Cena in it?
Hold on. It's got Keegan Michael Key from like Key and Peele. It's got John Hamm.
Hammy
It's
Solo's in there?
no, it's got John Hamm.
Oh.
It's got Lawrence Fishburne, Morpheus.
Morpheus.
It's got
Oh.
Steve Buscemi.
Steve Buscemi, okay?
That is quite a cast.
Yeah, it is quite a cast.
So yeah, I'm curious. I haven't seen anything with the exception of I think just a splash screen. I haven't seen a trailer, so be curious.
Yeah, it's curious, huh? It's coming out September, huh? But man,
September 20th, dude.
so September 20th, and like I said,
Really
what is it?
close.
Why isn't Microsoft banking on this? They gotta bank on all these games. So does that mean that by September we could be getting Transformers games dropping into Game Pass from Activision Blizz? I mean,
Who knows?
oh,
DJ Dana G actually just drops one in there that I totally forgot about. GoldenEye 007 Reloaded.
oh
There were
yes.
so when you mentioned that, there were a handful of other Activision uh, published and developed games of 007 also, because they had like 3 or 4 of them I think on Xbox 360. It was right after EA lost the rights, because they used to have them back on like PS2 and Xbox.
Hmm. But they can sit down and negotiate that and say, okay, let's bring these games into Game Pass, and anything. You just gotta sit down and negotiate. I don't know why,
It
but
probably takes a lot of money to get some of those, and I would imagine that some of those folks are just like, that's too much money for what it is. Like I would venture a guess that the price on a 007 license is probably pretty expensive.
It probably is. It
Just a
probably
guess.
is. But yeah, I mean, like I said, they just need to bring those things back. Oh my god, such great games, man! Because I mean, even this morning we had a good discussion on retro games. On my show, the morning show. Yeah, like I was leaving and everybody stopped me by and started talking retro. We literally sat there for 30 minutes talking retro. We could have lasted hours just talking retro games. It was insane. And oh, Vigilante 8 too. My God. See, like I said, Chad's bringing up some good games. Good
And that
games.
would be good timing too, because
Hmm.
Xbox 360's storefront just closed, and Vigilante 8 on Xbox 360 can now not be purchased.
Yeah.
So if you got that game, good. If not, that thing's lost to time, unless Microsoft brings it back in some sort of remaster or something.
But it's insane. And we just mentioned pretty much ABK titles, right? We mentioned just ABK titles, a little bit of Bethesda games. I mean, like I said, there is so much they can bring back. I mean, look, they can even freaking bring back Crash Bandicoot. Not Crash Bandicoot. What's it called? Banjo Kazooie. They can bring them back.
No,
And
no,
you don't
no,
want Banjo
nope.
Kazooie?
I
No.
don't I don't need that stupid bird and bear combo. I don't need that stupid crap.
But you know where I need it?
I know that a lot of people like it, and
Yep.
that's nice. you can go play on the Nintendo Switch where they've got plenty of those type of games. I do not need it. I do not care for it. You can play the old versions. We never need a new one of those. I
Well,
don't care what you say.
you know what we need? We need to have Rare develop a card game. That's what we need. A Rare develop a card
We
game.
we need to have Rare actually release something before we
Exactly.
start putting anything on a wish list. Because
Oh, exactly.
right now, all that Rare is developing is a
Is
6 foot hole in the ground so they can bury themselves.
oh,
Like
but
Rare
wait,
is not doing anything.
Sea of Thieves is doing pretty well. I mean, Sea of Thieves is doing awesome.
Anything okay? Besides Sea of Thieves,
Okay,
what have
okay.
they released in the last
Well,
8 years?
they were working on Everwild. I don't know what happened to that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, exactly.
yeah. I don't know what
Yeah.
happened. Yeah,
So
Everwild.
once they start releasing video games again, I'll trust them to actually make something. Because right now they're proving that all that they're doing is just warming up some seats.
Oh, okay, okay, but yeah, but if I was them, I would let them sit down like and say, hey, make me a card like you did with Diddy Kong Racing.
No,
You didn't like Diddy Kong Racing? Yeah,
no, I'm just saying, put someone else in charge because I don't trust Rare.
to do a kart racing like Diddy Kong. I remember the monkey laughing, facing that big pig from running everywhere. But I know we cannot get Diddy Kong Racing, but with all these mascots and everything that Xbox has, they can actually do a good racer. They can come up with something good. Face like the evil and like the evil thing. I don't know. Face like a big monster. I don't know what the monster will be called, but they can do
Have
something cool.
have a competent game studio release it.
Okay, okay. But yeah, like I said, so much stuff they can work on, man. I mean, it's amazing. I'm happy they actually developed. They actually sat down and said, "Okay, let's form a studio just to work on these games." And I really do hope they're more linear than big open world games because we actually need a break. Because, like I said, I remember Han Solo this afternoon just talking about Souls games. I know David Cohen said, "Yes, I want Microsoft to develop a Souls game," but to be honest, though, another one. I mean, we have it's time like to slow down Souls games because they're gonna just lose their touch because there's just too many of them out there. Which is not bad, they're good, but damn, there's just a lot of them out there. Same thing with open world. We need to chill out with those open world and focus on a little bit more on linear games. We've been getting open world since last generation. It's been open world after open world after open world after open world. And, my God,
And you know what? While we're at it,
yeah.
maybe we could do with like a few less Marios and Zeldas and Pokemon and that Pikmin thing or whatever. Like
What the
maybe we
hell?
could.
What the hell is a Pikmin? I mean, I keep hearing Pikmin, Pikmin. I was like, what the hell is a Pikmin? I mean, is Pikmin famous like Pokemon or something?
It looks like the Kmart brand Pokemon.
Let me see, Pikmin, because I heard about it, but I just never like. Okay, Pikmin. Here we go.
Yeah, Kmart brand Pokemon. It's
Okay,
not a Pokemon game. It's like a platformer
okay, all right, all right,
with
all right.
some puzzle stuff. Yeah, it's
Puzzles and Gumby characters because they look kind of like
yeah,
Gumby.
Gumby character. Yeah,
Yeah,
pretty
Gumby
much.
characters. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, that's the visual prowess of the Nintendo hardware.
Mm.
Gumby.
Gumby. Hey,
Aim high, Nintendo. Aim high.
wait. Gumby's good though. I mean, Gumby's not a bad thing. Gumby's good. Good cartoon show back in the day, wasn't it? Gumby.
Back in the day, sure.
Yeah. And Thomas the Train too. Dun, dun,
Okay.
dun, dun,
I
dun.
I think it's probably time to land this sucker
Yeah, it's funny.
before
Well,
we start
guys.
talking about more stuff and drive everyone away.
Yeah, I know. We're just messing. We're just messing. But yeah, guys. Oh my God, chat. Hell of a show today. It was a lot of fun. Thank you all for hanging out with us. I mean, it was amazing. You guys kept this chat rocking and rolling. And again, thank you all for your support. Thank you all for your super chats. You guys rocked. I mean, seriously, you guys kept this rolling. It was insane. I mean, I couldn't even keep up because, like I said, I'm behind the controllers. And to keep up with the chat and just switching around screens and everything, it was insane. But hey, you kept it fun. You guys rock. And again, shout out to everyone who joined the show today. It was awesome. Like I said, please join our Discord so Sourblow doesn't shoot my toes. I was going to keep my 10 toes. But yes, join our Discord just in case y'all want a game, hang out, or touch or talk any subject you guys want. No problem with that.
Touch what?
I
What
accidentally
now?
said I said touch, but it was talk, not touch. Sorry about I didn't even catch up to
Mhm.
that.
Yeah,
Sorry about that.
I catch everything, Louis.
I know you catch
And
everything.
if I don't,
I
my
know.
my trusty squad of goons
Oh, you got
will
just a
know.
squad of goons just to pick
Yeah,
on Louis?
I do.
You do, huh? Oh
Yep.
man, oh man. And there's the Discord again. Just drop it in there. But guys, thank you all again. Seriously, you all rock. Silent Cypher, please tell everyone where they can find you, sir.
Okay. Well, first off, chat. Thank you guys so much. Quite a conversation we had in the chat. Gets heated occasionally, but the thing is like I always appreciate like when you guys come in and keep a level head on it. Sometimes I like to antagonize, so my apologies. It's my nature. But I had a lot of fun chatting with you guys. As far as where you can find me for the rest of the week, or I guess until next week, um, you will catch me Friday morning on Double Barrel Gaming's Boomstick or Breakfast with Boom show. I'll be hanging out with those guys on Friday morning. And then Friday evening, I will be hanging out on Fright Night with Ferocious Fee podcast. It's a horror movie podcast. Feel free to come hang out, talk some horror movies and stuff. As I mentioned at the beginning of the show, we ended up the topic this week is going to end up being the town that dreaded sundown. There was one way back in like this. You said 70s, right?
76,
Yeah,
1976. I'm gonna go watch that
seven,
movie.
76 for the original, and then they did. I think it was a 40th anniversary celebration. They brought a new one out back in 2016, I think, right around there, if not. Um, Interesting shows. Watch them. Come join in on the conversation. Should be an interesting conversation with Ferocious Fee. We should have Fuzzy Belvedere there. I don't know who else is going to be with us besides myself. So it'll be us. We'll be hanging out, talking that stuff, and I think just that style of horror movie in general. And then besides that, you'll catch me here next Wednesday. You won't catch me on TikTok still at this point because
Oh,
TikTok permanently banned my account and never got back to me as to why they permanently banned my account. So they can go kick bricks right now. I have really no interest in TikTok. God damn you. Um, you'll probably find me on Twitter being an ass goblin, posting some stuff. Hopefully, you'll catch me on Xbox Live playing some games. Hopefully, I'll be on there a little bit this weekend. Yeah. Besides that, thank you guys so much, and yeah, we'll see you soon.
all right, and where can you find the crazy one? It's simple and easy. You can find me on Twitter at Crazy Lou Gaming, where that's one area you can find the crazy one. You can also find him on the Xbox Factor podcast on 12. Sometimes yes, 12 noonish on Tuesdays with Mr. Boomstick, Mr. Jamie Moran, and Mr. Infinite Umbra. And I pray to God that I could actually make it now because my God, I mean just been busy, just been super busy this summer with family, a lot of stuff going on in my life. It's just insane. Also, Xbox International Podcast at 7 p.m. ET with Sourblow, The Big Plume, and Silent Cypher on Wednesdays. And Good Morning with Crazy Lou Gaming from Mondays to Saturdays. I don't know the time yet because I didn't set it up because sometimes in the morning things get kind of ruckus, but I just post it on Twitter, post it on YouTube, I'll post it on Discord. When you guys see it, hop in and sit down and enjoy the ride because I just sit there by myself and just talk and talk and talk with the chat and have awesome conversations about the morning news and everything that goes on. And also, I have formed, a new alliance with Direct Gaming with New Legal, which when he can do a show, he just says, "Hey Lou, let's hop on," and I'll post it on Twitter, Discord, everywhere I'm gonna be at on Direct Gaming with New Legal. And last but not least, let me not mention this because Sourblow isn't here, but we gotta send them a shout out. The Xbox International Podcast en Español with Eternal Shaddai, Aska Gaming, and Captain Elving on Fridays, 7 p.m. ET. Guys, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and also hit that bell so it can tell you when next BI content comes on. And guys, remember. Let's go. Let's rock and let's get crazy. Yes. See you all next Wednesday. Bye, guys. Have an awesome one. Where's the outro? Outro coming in. Good day, y'all.
Ladies and gentlemen, we've arrived at our destination. For your safety and comfort, please remain seated with your seatbelt fastened until the captain turns off this live stream. On behalf of Xbox International, I'd like to thank you for joining us on this trip, and we're looking forward to seeing you aboard next Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.